Sounds like you're like a bit overwhelmed in a way with all of the possibilities and opportunities that you could jump on. Do you feel like,
Well, I don't feel overwhelmed because I know that I'm just getting stronger and stronger as a person, and as far as being overwhelmed, I'm just excited, dude. Like, I'm feeling, especially today, I'm feeling super hyped and super free to think through possibilities, and I don't know. I've kind of given myself a type of freedom today that I haven't felt in a while.
what do you mean exactly?
Just a freedom to dream, dude. You know, just a freedom to dream, man. It's like some days I feel really down on myself. I'll have thoughts of self-pity or embarrassment or like low self-esteem or worth, and on those days, any of those things, nevertheless, all of them, sometimes like those days suck. I could not fathom dreaming about being majorly successful. It's like, I'm just another rat. I'm just another cog in the machine, I guess. you know
What do you think is like the change? Like, why do you think some days you feel like you're allowing yourself to dream and you give yourself enough, to feel
well,
capable of that, and other days you feel like you have low self-esteem and you don't feel capable of dreaming big? Like,
I think I think it has a direct reflection of how my day is going and how authentic I'm being with myself. The more I distract myself with screens, the worse it gets.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
I need to like be in a flow throughout the day of getting done what I know I need to do, and it becomes easier and easier, and it starts firing that real dopamine in my brain where I just want to do more. And then bam, I can dream. I can think about tomorrow, and then I can think about next month.
Yeah, I found in my own life, like it's very hard to stop a momentum that's like in progress. Like you were talking about, some days you wake up and it's kind of a slow day and maybe you're like on your phone a little bit. Those days, it feels like that momentum you set right in the morning is really hard to overcome. Like some days I'll have a slow day and I spend hours kind of just like, unconscious, and then like I realize like I want to start really doing something with this day, and it feels so much harder to like switch it up. So it's like we almost
Definitely.
like right when we wake up, we need to like set an intention and like move forward with some goal throughout the day, like something we're working towards. Like you can't really expect the human to like be driven if there's like no clear destination. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
people who just have the vague idea of wanting to be more productive or more consistent, they're not going to become more productive or more consistent. Like you need to have something you're shooting for to like test your aim, in a way.
Yeah, I think I benefit hugely from being able to visualize exactly what I'm going to do the next day. The same way when you're going into the gym, it's so incredibly powerful to visualize yourself doing the exercises you're about to do so that you don't just get there. You can't just get there and expect failure. By that, I mean expect success because you want to fail under a weight. That's the purpose. You can't just expect success or failure, whatever you want to call it. You got to like visualize it and prepare your mind. You do the same thing with your days, man, and they'll go a lot smoother.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes we're not like deliberate enough. Like there's so many things that we kind of like neglect. Like when I'm drifting off before I go to sleep, I should be trying to set the intention every night of like, thinking about my future, thinking about, the day that is going to come once I wake up, and trying to like have a lucid dream that night, even because I've noticed the only
Mm.
nights I've been able to have a lucid dream is when I'm actively like setting that intention right before I go to bed, like really thinking about it. Seems like it's so natural, like you get up and the first thing you do is just like grab your phone and just like, start to wake yourself up a little bit. But there's a lot of like power right when you wake up. You're still kind of your dreaming self. You still have kind of some of this like unconscious energy, and the more you just like take that away by like immediately being focused on something. I don't know, like there's this philosopher named Rene Descartes, and I read about him in school, and it says like for the first 2 hours of the day, every day, he would just sit and like just be present. Like he would just be like thinking about things, like organizing his mind, recapitulating. He would just spend 2 hours without any stimulation, and I think for most of history, humans probably had a lot of that, like life wouldn't feel so overwhelming and confusing if we kind of gave ourselves more time to process it in the right way, you know what I mean?
Wow. He sounds like a true example.
No, yeah, for real. Like, for me, that was always when I would, like, go and take warm baths, because I was never, like, a shower dude, because it just felt like there was always something going on, and when you're in a shower, there's always, like, this loud noise. But a bath, it was, like, it's loud and chaotic, but then, like, once you get to the right water level and you just turn it off, it's just absolute silence and, like, that, like, steam rising off the water and just that warmth all on your body. And I would just sit there and, like, kind of recapitulate the day I'd had, plan tomorrow. And, you know, when I was doing that daily journal like a year ago, I feel like that's even better than just like sitting there. Like some part of you kind of like comes forward when you're just like writing about, whatever is on your mind. And I felt like I was so much more deliberate with how I was living my life. It seemed like I had everything like down to a science, like worked out. Like my daily routine back then was unbeatable. I would wake up, like take a cold shower, and then like while I was still cold, all that dopamine running through my brain, I would like type up my daily journal. Like I would talk about what happened the day previously, my goals for this current day, and just like whatever thoughts are kicking around in my brain, whatever grievances I have that I feel like need to be heard. Like, I don't know. I think we need some amount of that, whether it's like a therapist or like something you're writing in or like a good homie like you,
Yeah. Thank you, bro. I feel ultimately the same about you. It's like it's so incredible to be able to talk to people about what's going on in your mind. And you and your brother have talked about this on your channel before, like being able to talk to people that you're close with for the sake of them changing your perspective on that thing, because they have a different perspective on that thing. They're completely outside of your emotions.
For real.
They can look at what you're going through and be like, yeah, dude, it makes sense that you feel those emotions. And hearing someone say that is incredible. I feel like you can't logically explain your emotions, and so you can never really be too confident that you're in the right.
Exactly, yeah. Like you kind of need a mirror to like affirm yourself to some extent, not to like maintain your ego, but to just be able to know that you're not alone in a way. Like if I'm talking to you and I'm expressing a way I feel and you're like, yeah, I think that's pretty natural, I think a lot of people feel that way, I'm kind of like, oh, thank God. I thought I was just crazy, I'm the only one who feels this way. Because it's like, chances are if one person feels the way you do, then you're not crazy. Probably a lot of people actually feel the way you do. It's like sometimes we see things as like so black and white, but there's a lot of gray in between, and I think most opinions have some amount of like validity to them. And I think it's important to like surround yourself with intelligent people that will test you in a way. Even people who are on the other side of the spectrum from you, whether that's like politics or spirituality or religion or like anything. It's important to like have people that are mirrors and also people who are like, devil's advocates in a constructive way. You know what I mean? Like, I have a friend where he always plays the devil's advocate. It feels like he doesn't actually believe in anything. He's just sitting there. I think you know the one, but he's always just sitting there just disagreeing just for the sake of disagreeing, just because he wants to like test how you feel. He's like, no, actually, I think murder is totally cool. Like, I think if you want to kill someone, you should. And I'll be like, no, like, you can't actually believe that. And he's like, I do believe that. And I'm like, no, you don't. You do not believe that murder is okay. And he's like, I do. I don't see anything wrong with it. Like, I step on a bug. What's the difference? And it's like, obviously he doesn't really believe that, but it's funny. He just like, he just really wants to like get deep into like why I feel the way I feel, because some things we see as like, well, obviously, it's wrong to murder people. And it is, like, and I have actual reasons to back that up, but maybe I just took it for granted and didn't have any reasons until he tested me on that. Like, I think even if you're totally right in every single thing you believe, if you have no way to substantiate that, nothing within you, no reason why you're right, then you didn't really earn that. Like, you aren't really right. You know what I mean? Maybe someone gave you all the right answers on a test, but you can't show your work. You can't go and like actually explain why you got that answer. You're like, yeah, the answer's 17, and your teacher's like, how'd you get that answer? And you're like, I don't know. I just know it's 17. You know.
Someone told me on a on the television set. They told
Yeah,
me.
I just like heard it like I think like 4 or 5 years ago somewhere like, you know, like I think it's important to just have a very like I feel like people fall in this trap where if they're not very educated about something but it comes up, they're still kind of willing to like talk about it openly as if they're aware. And you don't have to be like an expert on something to like discuss it. Like I don't like gatekeep conversations, but also like I think there should be some amount of humility if you are not an expert. Like some things I'm probably more versed in than I realize compared to the average person. And yet if I was in, a conversational environment and we started discussing that, I would make very clear like I'm probably not as experienced as you guys and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because if you don't like lay that out ahead of time, then it's harder not to defend yourself when they suddenly are saying like you're wrong. You know what I mean? Like if you allow them
Yeah,
to pick at you, then your ego doesn't feel as affected when they do pick at you. Like
dude, what a hack! What a
for real.
hack! That's
Yeah,
incredible.
for real. Like,
And
exactly. Yeah.
it makes me think about why I hate politics so much, because nobody will. I don't know. I feel like most people will just hear what they think is the right answer, what they want to believe is the right answer, on, like I said, the television set, on the news, on the For You page of their social media, or their Google browser. They're just seeing random stuff about random people, and they think it's the right answer. They want to believe it's the right answer. And they don't do their research, so they didn't really earn the right to go around like an advertisement for this news channel.